Hey, everybody. Grant Miller here, Miami Community Newspapers. Today is South Dade Chamber Shoutout. We got Frank from Spur of the Moment Ranch. If you ever seen it, it's unbelievable. We have Julio Guzman leading off on the team, batting .352, and also plays what position did you play in football?
I played outside linebacker, defensive end. What
position would you be considered now if you went to the college or pro?
D end. It'd be considered D end. Yeah.
All right. So we're here to talk about South Dade Chamber. How long have you been a member, Frank?
Just recently. Actually, this year we joined up.
Yeah, you hosted an event there.
Yes, he hosted ladies. He hosted the Ladies of Legacy Luncheon. Lucia Soria, our chair-elect, brought this to the chamber, and it was a phenomenal event. It was one of the events that we were finally able to get together. And, we still had social distancing, but your venue is so conducive to those types of events because it's outdoor, yet you still have the big cheeky hut. And I was just amazed at the amount of detail that Spur of the Moment Ranch has when it comes to wedding venues. I was blown away. I went into the bride and groom's quarters, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And when I started talking to you, you said, yes, I built all of this with my own hands.
Exactly. We, I've been a contractor for many years, and as a few years passed, I decided driving 2.5 hours each way to work, this wasn't going to cut it. So told the wife, we're going to turn this into a venue, not knowing that there was many venues out in the Redlands. Right. I actually just put my own touch into it, got the barn, whatever was there, and we made it work.
Okay, Tommy, can you put that video on and talk about it when you
sure
what's happening? Here we go. Let's go, Cowboys.
So at the beginning, you didn't.
There it is.
Okay, that's pretty much an overview of the facility, and then that you're going to see couples and certain little cuts and pieces of the barn. Do you have the air conditioned barn? We have an outdoor pole barn, which we call it's an open air facility, which is a dining hall. We have lagoons. We have that. There is the saloon, which is the groom saloon.
Right.
We have animals on site. We're actually a working farm. Pretty much everything in one little bundle that you can need for a wedding or any other type of event for that matter.
Yeah, you just don't put on weddings. You put
Correct.
on.
Correct. We do corporate events. We do birthday parties, anniversaries. As recently, we don't do children's parties because we have a lot of animals on the property and like water. So we're trying to move towards that now, but typically it's the bulk of it is weddings.
Yeah, I sat on you have old equipment there too for scenery.
Correct. We have a lot of antiques on the property. Pretty much everything is decorated with antiques, and that adds a lot of touch to the
character.
Yes, correct.
Now, what is the address?
24700 Southwest 152 Avenue, Homestead.
What I find so unique about his place is that it's a Western style. It's a man's kind of domain, but the women love it. The women love it. And I wanted to say, you didn't even know there were other wedding venues in the area. So that's totally unique to your perspective, yours and your wife's, which I think is amazing because it really exemplifies
How much younger is your wife than you?
4 years.
That's it?
That's it.
She's aging good. What happened?
Yes, I don't know, man. I have city miles on me. Must have been when I was in the Marine Corps.
How many years did you serve?
4 years.
Thank you very much for serving.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for that service. How big is the property, Frank?
The property sits on 5.06 acres, and the venue itself encompasses about 2.5 to 3 acres.
And what's on the other 2 acres?
The other part of the property is Longan Grove. It's
wait, what?
Longans, which is like lychees.
Oh,
it's another name for these.
It's a name for lychees.
Well, there's the red lychees and then the green longans. The longans are green.
And do you sell those?
Well, I have farmers in the area that actually harvest them for me.
En español se dice longan, para que tú sepas. Longan.
Oh, I got you. All right. Where do I hear a horn? Did somebody's horn going?
Frank, so I wanted to ask you, you're looking at a 5-acre piece of property and you have to start thinking, all right, how am I going to design this? And it's almost like you have to be an architect, but all of this comes from your imagination and you start piecing this thing together. Tell us a little bit about that experience and how you created that plan.
Basically, I had a boarding facility on the property. The barn itself, what's the air conditioning dancing area right now, it used to be a horse stables.
Okay.
So I decided to take that, and then the riding arena. The riding arena became the open pole barn and the lake, and then the barn was just the air conditioned barn. That's for dancing. That was all for horses.
Awesome. And also, tell us a little bit about your background. Were you born in the U.S.?
Actually, no. I was born in Cuba, 1963. I came over here in 1971, and as we've discussed several times, I moved straight into Leisure City, and pretty much have been in the Homestead area my entire life, other than when I've been out traveling, in the Marine Corps and whatnot.
Big shout out to Leisure City. We feel a lot of pride for those of us that grew up in Leisure City. We made a lot of friends. There was a lot of sense of community. There was a lot of Latin people there. And I've got to meet your brother as well through there, going up through high school with him. So, nowadays people just say Homestead, but Homestead's got their little pockets, and Leisure City was our pocket, and I still feel some pride there. So how often are you booked at Spur of the Moment Ranch?
At the current moment, my biggest issue is that I need another 6 weeks of the year. Pretty much every weekend we're booked, other than the ones that I'm blocked out.
When you say booked, you're talking about weekends, but you're starting now doing events during the week too.
That is correct. Right now, we're encouraging folks to move into the Thursdays, as a lot of our Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are booked. Not all, but a good amount of them.
And you're doing could be two events a day.
We have a policy where we only do one event a day to keep it smooth. Especially if it's a wedding. We don't want the bride to feel uncomfortable because there's another event or they're being rushed or whatever. So we typically do, when it's weddings, we only do one event a day.
Okay, question. The farthest customer that came, do you have people from New York, Chicago, Alaska? Where's somebody strange that came?
Right now, we have weddings coming in from Chicago, New York, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Wow. People are coming from all over, and I keep shouting this out. It's the wedding destination. Redlands is the place to be.
Okay, now where do they stay?
Right now, they're staying. We encourage them, because we've actually spoken several times with the chain of hotels that's located on Campbell, the brand new hotels, and they stay pretty much booked all year round because of the venues down here. They require a certain amount of block out, but they pretty much stay there.
And how much staff do you have there?
Well,
and how much staff do you need?
Staff on hand, we typically have 2 to 3 floor attendants. We have my wife and myself. We live on property, and we actually work the shows as well. Not the shows, the events.
It's a show.
And then we have in-house bartenders, 2 of them, and our DJs are in-house as well. They're not in-house, but they do all of our events. We don't, we don't fluctuate with the DJs, and we also have wedding coordinators, day of coordinators.
I met one of them at the event, the Shoutout Chamber. She was lovely. She talked.
Correct. That was Belinda.
Yeah, she understood everything, and you have to. People come from Alabama or in Chicago. They need to know the lay of the land. And it's beautiful when people drive into your facility. There's so many beautiful things you go by. Correct. I mean, when you drive in, it looks like a little village in the West, like something beautiful in the West, or out in Kentucky or Tennessee or something. Okay, so you have koi. I know that. What fish? Like you have a donkey? Did I say a donkey? Horses? What
we have on site? We have right now. I have alpacas. I have llamas.
Who? Wait. Who?
Alpaca.
What language is that?
That is they're related to camels. Okay. They're warm and fuzzy. they're related to llamas as well. So we have those. We have ponies, little mini pigs, tortoises, tons of fish.
And you're raising. I mean, you're breeding some of that, right?
Correct. The fish I breed at Tahabi. Everybody asks me if I sell those. Those are actually all over the property.
The koi,
cichlid, catfish. I mean, you name it. It's pretty much every fish.
I mean, when I went out there, snuck in the back. I don't know if I was allowed. And you see these little wooden things, and you have different fish in there and turtles in there. It's like a zoo. Actually, part of the Florida agritourism that allows us the opportunity to be as open as a venue, one of the requirements is that you're actually a working facility. So we are a working farm at the venue. It is. Again, I was with Julio at South Dade Chamber event, and it is just exciting when you walk up to the grooms thing, and it's just beautiful.
Right.
It's impressive.
I did want to ask Frank, because the agritourism has gone through its challenges down in the Redlands, and the South Dade Chamber of Commerce was part of the group that was trying to, get the ordinance so that you can have events, because Miami-Dade County had a lot of regulations keeping you guys from doing it. How have you navigated through that process to continue to have events and for the events to be successful? Because sometimes, the noise ordinance can be an issue, and parking and all kinds of things can be an issue when you have regulation. How have you navigated through that?
Well, Fortunately, the regulations that were put in place allowed we met every single regulation as far as the parking requirements, which are on site. You cannot park off site. The noise ordinance, always we adhere to that, which is 11 p.m. That we don't, and our music is all controlled inside the barn.
That's right. I saw that.
Controls the noise out in the ambience. If you drive by our place in the evening when a party's going on, you can barely tell there's anything
almost
going
like there's a studio in there. The way it's set up.
Correct. One of the requirements is to have 5 acres. There are several requirements, and we met them all.
Fantastic. So, in terms of people wanting to book events at Spur of the Moment, how do they book events? Do they just go online? Do they go to your Facebook? Where do people typically book events?
Typically, the bulk of our events are right now. They're starting to be recommendations, but it's spurofthemomentevents.com is our website.
Events.com.
And also our Instagram page, which is Spur of the Moment event, info at Spur of the Moment events.
It's also great that he is one of the few wedding venues out in the Redlands that collectively have made the Redlands, one of the bright spots in this country. Do you ever get a chance to go to some of the other venues? Is
that right? Cross bottom?
SpurOfTheMomentEvents.com. That's our website.
That's good. We'll leave it like that. I got a question. Where were you born?
Second floor of Havana. I say second floor because everybody's from Havana.
Right. Camagüey, Havana. Wait, but you're raised in Homestead.
I literally came to Homestead when I was 7 years old and lived there. Other than my time in the Marine Corps, I've lived there my entire life.
See, you're bred in Homestead. So when people do business with you, that money stays in Homestead.
Yes, sir.
So we thank that. Thank you.
And one of the things I'd like to point out, because for many years, the county was giving the venues that were out there a hard time about this or that, the other thing. They finally came to their senses and realized the amount of money that the venues are bringing into the community, whether it be the people working the floor or the people you're buying the plates and cups from, or the people that are, the hotels in the area. Everything in the area benefits from this.
It's interesting. I don't know all the venues down there, but the venues in Redland, Homestead work together.
Yeah.
But hotels, they're fighting, killing each other for weddings. You guys seem like you guys all work together.
I actually, I made it a point to reach out to other venues. I work with other venues in the sense that if I have a book date and somebody has to have that specific date, I'll call a couple of other venues and ask them if they have availability. And others do that the same for me.
Good. So that's teamwork.
We share business.
It's a camaraderie between them. And they know that it benefits the community. And they all have something different that's unique about their venue. So today is the big shout out for Spur of the Moment Ranch. But however, I still want to give recognition to a few of the others. You got the Redland Koi Gardens. You've got the historic Walton House down there, absolutely beautiful. You have Hacienda Los Robles. You have the Patch of Heaven Sanctuary. You have Schnebley's Winery. You have Secret Gardens Miami. The Seminole Theater's down there. The Homestead Speedway's down there. You got Longan's Place, and you've got the Heritage Market, which is on Chrome. Again, these guys are a community of great venues that are collectively doing amazing things for people who are interested in getting married down in Homestead. How do you see that, that space moving forward in the next 5 years? Do you see people wanting to dive in and buy up property? You think the property values are too high right now? How long does it take you to finally have the final product? Because I know you're consistently adding or enhancing the experience. How long does it typically take for a venue to get up and running?
Well, in my case, I actually did it. The actual build out, I did it myself and another gentleman, which is my guy that works with me every day on the property. We did it in 8 months. Wow. That was the initial setup. That's me doing the work. If anybody were to go pay a contractor to do it, it might be a little faster than that. And then the licensing is taken anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 months, depending on the needs of what's going on your property. That are the requirements for the county.
So is there any other regulations that are coming into play now that may affect you? Or since you're in compliance right now, you don't see anything coming down the pipeline that could affect your business?
I think everything that we're doing is, besides being in compliance, is the right way to do it. We're keeping the noise contained inside the building. We're having the dining outdoors, which was a great help during the COVID time. Yeah. And I think everything's going to flow fairly well if it stays as it is. I mean, I don't see any reason to change anything.
Frank, I'd be remiss if I don't mention your wife. I had an opportunity to meet her. She's absolutely amazing. She's a big part of this vision too, right? She plays an important role. What is her role in Spur of the Moment?
Her role is a huge role. I built it and she works it. I mean, she sells it. She's constantly online, taking care of customers, answering calls, answering texts, emails, sending out contracts. And aside from that, working every single event. We're there from start to finish, and a few hours afterwards cleaning up as well. And she's probably the biggest part of that.
Wow. And there's always something to do. There's never a day you wake up and say, "Oh, I've got an off day. I don't have anything to do out in the ranch today."
No, actually, yesterday I spent the day putting up fairy lights because we added inside the pole barn. We added what's going to be called dining under the stars. So the entire ceiling is going to be fairy lights.
Wow.
And part of that was done yesterday. It spent actually the last 2 days doing that.
That is amazing. I think we have created our own sort of Napa Valley, if you will. And every chance I get, I'm always, highlighting all of the great work that you guys do. I'm proud to be part of that community. I'm so glad that you are part of the community. And I commend everything that you guys have put into that place. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today. I appreciate your time. All the best to you guys and best of luck.
Thank you, Julio.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
South Dade Shoutouts. Thank you so much to all of our board members. Thank you, Miami Community News. You guys are awesome. South Dade Chamber, we're out. Thank you.